I called out my dad for saying masks are too hard to wear after he spent years calling me a snowflake. My dad has always been the type to tell me I'm too sensitive about everything. If I complained about anything, he'd roll his eyes and say my generation doesn't know how good we have it. When I was in high school, I tried to talk to him about stress from AP classes and college applications. He told me to toughen up because he had to work construction during summers when he was my age. If I mentioned feeling anxious about something, he'd say I was being dramatic and needed to grow thicker skin. His favorite line was always, "Your generation are all snowflakes. You can't handle anything without falling apart." He'd say this while sitting on the couch watching TV, drinking beer, and complaining about literally everything. Last summer, when COVID was still a big thing, my dad started losing his mind over mask requirements. Every single time we went anywhere, he'd complain the entire drive there. Going to the grocery store meant listening to a 20-minute rant about how masks were uncomfortable and he couldn't breathe properly. One day, we were getting ready to go to my cousin's outdoor birthday party. The invitation said, "Masks required since my aunt is immunocompromised." My dad saw it and immediately started going off. "This is ridiculous. I'm not wearing that thing for 3 hours. It's too hot outside. I can barely breathe in those things." I was so tired of hearing it. I looked at him and said, "You know what's funny? You've spent my entire life calling me a snowflake for being uncomfortable with things, but you can't handle wearing a piece of cloth on your face for a few hours?" He got this angry look and said I didn't understand that it was different, that it was about freedom and rights and the government controlling people. I cut him off. Grandpa got drafted and sent to Vietnam when he was 19. Grandma's parents survived a concentration camp, and you're telling me that wearing a mask to protect other people is too hard for you? My mom was standing in the kitchen and her eyes went wide. Nobody ever really challenges my dad like that. He started getting red in the face. "That's completely different and you know it," but I kept going. "You always brag about how your generation is so tough and could handle anything, how we're all weak and entitled, but your grandparents dealt with actual wars and real suffering, and you're having a meltdown over a mask requirement at a birthday party." He was furious. He said I was being disrespectful and didn't know what I was talking about, that I was too young to understand real problems. I told him that was exactly my point, that wearing a mask for a few hours isn't a real problem, but he was acting like it was the worst thing that ever happened to him. My mom tried to calm things down, but I wasn't done. "You want to talk about being a snowflake? You can't even do something as simple as covering your face without complaining constantly. Meanwhile, you expect me to just deal with everything you think is no big deal." He ended up not going to the party. He stayed home and sulked while my mom and I went without him. She didn't say much about it, but I could tell she agreed with me. When we got home, he gave me the silent treatment for 3 days.